Have you ever felt like something invisible is holding you back? Some unseen force that just keeps you stuck in the same old patterns, the same frustrations? Well, ancient wisdom from the Pali texts actually has a name for these forces, and more importantly, it gives us a really detailed map for how to break them. That's what we're going to do today. We're going to explore this ancient map and figure out how we can start to break free from these chains on the mind.
So just take a second and really think about that. What is it? Your habits, maybe your beliefs about yourself, your fears? Well, according to this ancient framework, what's holding us back isn't really external. It's not your job or your relationships or your bank account. Nope, it's internal. These are chains forged right inside the furnace of our own minds.
The Pali word for these chains is Saṃyojanā. Now, the translation is fetter or bond, but I want you to get a more vivid picture here. Imagine an invisible anchor that's keeping your ship stuck in the stormy seas of your mind, and it's stopping you from ever reaching a peaceful shore. The entire path to freedom is really just about identifying these anchors one by one and systematically cutting the ropes. And here's our map for today's journey. We're going to start by really understanding the problem, these chains that bind us. Then, we'll walk through the progressive levels of freedom, from taking that very first irreversible step to weakening the deepest habits of the mind, all the way to total, unshakable liberation.
Okay, let's dive in. First things first, what exactly are these chains?
So the texts lay out 10 of them, 10 specific fetters. And look, these aren't just random obstacles. They are deep-seated mental habits that fundamentally twist how we see reality. And the path to freedom isn't about breaking them all at once in some big heroic effort. It's a systematic, step-by-step process of weakening and eventually completely destroying them in a very specific order. This brings us to the first major milestone. And honestly, this one is a massive deal. It's called entering the stream. And a person who gets here is known as a sotapanno. And this isn't just a small step forward, it's a quantum leap in consciousness. It's a moment when the entire trajectory of your life changes forever.
So, how do you enter this stream? The key is the Padakaya, which means the complete and utter destruction of the first 3 fetters. And when I say destruction, I really mean it. This isn't just pushing them down or ignoring them. It's like shattering the very foundations of your own mental prison. Once these 3 are gone, they can never, ever arise in the mind again.
Okay, now what's so interesting here is just how fundamental these first 3 chains are. First up, Sakaya Dishte, or personality view. You know that little narrator in your head, the one who's always judging, comparing, worrying? That's it. It's that deep gut feeling of a permanent, separate me that we think we are, but it's really just a story we tell ourselves. Second is Vicikiccha, skeptical doubt. Now this is not healthy curiosity. This is the paralyzing kind of doubt that keeps you standing on the shore, wondering if the boat will even float, instead of just getting in and rowing. And third, Sila Bhatta Paramaso, grasping at writs and vows. This is a classic, mistaking the finger pointing at the moon for the moon itself. It's the belief that just going through external motions, without any real inner change, can somehow save you. Breaking these 3, it's the ultimate game changer.
And this right here just brilliantly illustrates the new reality for a stream enterer. The texts say they are avanipatamo, not subject to ruin. They can't fall back into lower states. They are niyato, which means assured. Their path is now certain. And they are sambodhiparayano. They are bound for awakening. It's an irreversible step toward ultimate freedom. There's no turning back.
Okay, so let's move on to the next level and see how this path builds. This is the stage of the sakaragami, or the once returner. And yeah, just like the name implies, something really significant has changed about their future connection to this world. So here's the crucial distinction. A once returner has also completely destroyed those first 3 fetters. The difference, though, lies with the big 3 poisons: greed, hate, and delusion. For a stream enterer, these can still flare up pretty strongly. But for a once returner, they have become tanutta. They're greatly weakened. Think of it like this. The raging bonfire has been reduced to just a few faint, glowing embers. They just can't consume the mind anymore. And this weakened state has a profound consequence, and it's captured perfectly in this quote. A once returner, if they don't reach the final goal in this life, is destined to return to this world just one more time to make a final end to all suffering. You see, the gravitational pull of this world has been dramatically loosened. This takes us to an even more advanced stage, the anagami, or the non-returner. We're talking about a state of profound peace and transformation here, and it marks a final, irreversible farewell to our familiar world of sensual experience.
So
To get to this level, you have to completely destroy the first 5 fetters. These are known as the lower fetters because they're what tie us to the sensual world. So in addition to the first 3, the non-returner has totally eradicated 2 more. Number 4 is kamachando, or sensual craving. This is that insatiable hunger for pleasure, right? That constant, restless chase for the next sensory hit. And number 5 is bayapado, or ill will. This is the poison of resentment, the bitterness we carry around, those subtle and not so subtle wishes for others to suffer. For a non-returner, these are just gone, forever.
The consequence is absolute. As the texts say, a non-returner is anavaditathamo tasma loka. They are not liable to return from that world. Their journey in this cycle of rebirth is over. They take birth in a high, pure realm, and from there, they attain final liberation, never to be seen in our world again.
And that brings us to the final stage, the very culmination of the entire path. This is it, the achievement of the Arahant, the fully awakened one who has realized the ultimate goal, total freedom.
At this point, it's actually beautifully simple. There are no more levels, no more steps, all 10 fetters, the 5 lower ones we just saw, plus 5 incredibly subtle higher fetters that bind us even to refined states of existence. They're all just annihilated. The chain is broken. The mind is completely, unshakably free.
And wow, what a profound statement this is. For an arahant, parikina bhava Saṃyojanā. The fetter of existence itself is destroyed. The very root of craving to be something, to become something else, that subtle clinging to life that drives his whole cycle of rebirth, has been completely pulled out. That's the final goal.
So, as we wrap this up, let's bring it all the way back to you. Seeing this ancient map laid out, from the most obvious chains to the most subtle, from that first step to the final goal, it leaves us with a really powerful question. Looking at your own mind, your own life, which chain will you begin to work on first?